agent, I would love for every home inspection to come back with an A+, but in reality, that never is really the case. So we've talked most recently about negotiations, and if you made it past that, then the next stage is the home inspections. And during this time, the buyer has the right to walk away from the deal without consequence and for any reason, and they don't really have to tell you why. And to top it off, you have an inspector that they hired combing through your house to find the buyer, or to find any reason for the buyer to renegotiate price or to negotiate repairs. So this is really a rough time for sellers. So I want to give you some tips on what to do and what not to do during the inspection when dealing with these inspection contingencies. So let's start with what you can do to win the inspector over, things you can do leading up to the inspection and to have ready. So rule number one is don't be there. Okay, it's awkward for the buyers, it's awkward for their agent, it's awkward for the inspector. It's not going to win you anything, and if anything at all, it's going to hurt you, because when the inspector feels frustrated, you know, you're the only obvious target that they have. So when the inspector comes, go for a walk and make it a long one. All right. So clean the house, obviously. Okay. It sounds really simple, yet homeowners often overlook this one simple tactic. Home inspectors are people first and inspectors second. And as people, they carry preconceived ideas of how well a home has been maintained depending on the cleanliness. Clean homes say you care and you take care of the house. It's a good idea to make a good impression, right? So don't make the mistake of thinking they can see past the stuff, because they can't, all right? Be on time, okay? I know I just said a second ago, don't be there, but since you're a for sale by owner, you probably don't have a lockbox on the door, even though you should. The inspector still needs to get access to the house. So be there for them when they arrive, and then go for that long walk we talked about. Leave the utilities connected. This gives the inspector the ability to test everything without interruption. Without the utilities being on, the inspector will simply reschedule, and you'll just be drawing out the process and prolonging the day you get to close. And another thing is to keep the areas clean around furnaces and water heaters. Make the inspector's job easy, okay? Another thing you can do connected with that is keep pilot lights ignited. Many home inspectors are going to refuse to light pilot lights because they probably don't carry enough insurance to cover an exploding house, and they don't want that type of liability and risk. So if your pilot lights are not on, then an important item such as the water heater, gas stove, or maybe a furnace, it won't be inspected, and the buyer could delay closing until those things are inspected. The inspectors will probably charge the buyers extra money as well if they have to come back to the house, which the buyers are going to try to take out of you. So another thing is provide access to attics and garages, crawl spaces and things like that. The inspector needs to get into your basement or attic and check for water in the basement, move all the boxes and stored items away from walls, so that at least by 2 feet, and vacuum out spider webs, look in the attic for possible rodent droppings, and secure valuables, if any, are sitting around. Okay, again, inspectors are people. Leave keys to outbuildings and electrical boxes accessible. Okay, give them to the inspector when they show up. Make sure they leave them when they go, but you want these things to be accessible. Unlock covers for the sprinkler system, the electrical boxes. Leave a key for the exterior building access if you have one. Label the keys and leave them on the kitchen table if necessary. Okay, another a good tip is to clear away brush from exterior inspection points. Clear away brush from exterior extension points. Nobody expects you to shovel a tunnel around your home if snow drifts are blocking the foundation. In the summer, cut down dead trees, branches, clear brush from foundation, and move trash cans away from the house. Save the inspector some time so they can just move along and get this over with. And also provide documentation or receipts for any work you've had done. Make it available to the home inspector, all the invoices and documents regarding remodeling projects, new items such as a roof or furnace, installed a new dishwasher, find the paperwork. All right, so there's some tips to get ready for the inspection. Okay, but what happens after the inspection? Well, negotiations start again. Renegotiations due to the inspection contingencies that's in the purchase and sale agreement. A home, no matter what you think, is never truly bought or sold until the money has exchanged hands, and you may have received an offer on your house and be reasonably sure that you have a buyer, but there are several other steps you got to jump through before the sale is final, and one of those steps is the home inspection. okay? And after that, you're going to have the negotiations. And unless your home is flawless, which again, few ever are, if any, you're probably going to be in for some negotiations with the buyer before you see the end of your sale. So I know as a realtor, one of my least favorite parts of a real estate transaction is negotiating any necessary home inspection problems that have surfaced during the inspection. But unfortunately, it's inevitable and it's part of the job. As being a for sale by owner, now it's going to be part of your job. So what's the best way of going about negotiating home inspection repairs? The first thing you want to do is be ready to push for inspection credits instead of doing repairs. And this is why. When selling your home and negotiating home inspection items, you should always push for closing cost credits or maybe a price reduction whenever possible. Negotiating home inspection issues is sometimes not that easy, but this is what you should be shooting for as a seller, okay? There's just too much stress and uncertainty in putting yourself on the line for repairs. And so if you can avoid it, do so. The buyer is likely to be extremely picky about the quality of the work, and you could wind up being asked for even more work if he or she is unhappy with the outcome of what you do at first, which is just going to cost you more and more money. This is why most realtors will recommend you offer the cash value of repairs negotiated down as much as possible instead of offering to do the repairs yourself, okay? It's easy to see how you can get in trouble here doing the repair. Say, for example, the roof over your garage has hail damage and the buyer demands it to be fixed, and you agree that repairs need to be made and you offer to have them done. Okay, so you do this before the closing takes place. Two things are going to happen. The first is the repairs take longer than you thought and potentially end up delaying closing if the buyer or their attorney will not agree to an escrow holdback. Second, the roof shingles are newer, so they don't look the same as the old shingles. The buyer should understand that this is just, you know, part of it, but they choose not to, and they demand you do something about it. And again, the second example, the buyer could attempt to delay the closing, creating stress for you, especially if you've bought another home and you need to close on your home to go and purchase that one. Or you've already bought another home and you're just ready to move into it, you know? So you probably would not be liable for any further costs in this particular situation, but you also just put yourself through weeks of anxiety and ended up angry at a buyer, and all of which could have been avoided by just handing over the estimated cost of repairs in cash or credit on the sale and at the closing table. So the buyer picks his contractor, they deal with the consequences while you get to move on with your life, okay? So at the end of the day, be ready to negotiate when the buyer comes to you with a list of things they want to be fixed. You have to decide, is it worth it? How long is it going to take? Am I going to lose money by doing this? I personally coach my buyers to go for the credits at closing. They get to save that money at the closing table, and they can use that money to hire people to do the repairs themselves, get it done the way they like, and everyone gets to move on with their lives. So be creative. If you have a lot of different options, and if you can't think of anything to do to save a deal, I'll be glad to help. Give me a call, 865-696-1815, okay? That's it for this video. It was kind of a long one, but there's a lot to unpack there, and I wanted you to really understand the credits at closing. I hope all is going well with you, and remember, if you need me, just give me a call, okay? Again, the number's below. Everything's in the description. And before you go, remember to give this video a quick like, and if you know of anyone moving to the Knoxville area, or if you know anyone that's already here and they need a great agent, send them my information or send me their information. The contact information for me, again, is down below. benbarredo sales@gmail.com. All right, 865-696-1815. Thanks, guys.